Today I thought we would take a look at the Blacksmith's helper or adjustable work stand, whatever you want to call it, that Ken's Custom Iron sent out. Now they sent this out as part of a package of stuff to look at for an earlier sponsored video. This video isn't specifically sponsored. I just thought it would be nice to present this in its own video. Now a lot of the work has already been done. The top is welded onto the bar. It's already got the nut and the wing nut here, or knob, whatever you want to call it, set and ready to go. Mostly we just have to assemble the stand for this, and I think that's a place we can do just a little bit of ornamental forging or chisel work anyways, just to dress it up a little bit. No, it doesn't need it. You can drill all the holes, assemble it, and you don't have to do anything to it. I just think it'll be more fun. This comes with a center piece, and this is what that upright is going to mount to, and it comes with 3 feet that have already been bent. So really all that has to happen is these get riveted on here. Heck, you could even weld these on here if you want. Maybe if you like a belt and suspenders, you could do both. I think I'm going to start by drilling the mounting hole. A bit easier to get this laid out before we start messing with this. It'd be nice if this hole was pre-cut when they made the blank, but if you do any forging on this, you'll probably end up messing up the hole a little bit, and I kind of plan on going back to the drill press to clean it up before we assemble it. I'm thinking just a simple chiseled border on this is going to be fine, just something like that if you can see that. If not, you'll be able to see it when it's chiseled. And we'll do that all the way around and maybe bevel these edges some. Using a chisel that is not perfectly straight along the cutting edge helps you work around some gentle curves. And the smaller the chisel, the easier it is to go around curves. But having an actual curved chisel that matches the radius is really the ideal way to go. Unfortunately, the radius on this curved chisel is just a little bit tight. This one that I bought at some blacksmithing event years ago looks like it's just the right thing. Now, curved chisels frequently require a right and a left depending on which way you're going around the curve. And for a hand chisel, it doesn't matter. You just turn it around, you can work it the other direction. For a set chisel or a handled chisel like this one, if the handle is loose, you just take the handle off and put it in the other way, and that gives you both tools in one. Even with the hot metal glove on, there's a lot of radiant heat coming off of this. So I'm going to see if I can find a handled chisel that will do the same job. If not, you can always hold the chisel in a pair of tongs. I think for the feet I'm just going to go with a simple bevel. Trying not to change the profile of the legs. I want this curve to be the same on all three. So I'm just lightly carrying that bevel over into the curve. Rest of that will be down on the floor in use. Nobody will ever see it. Okay, everything's had a chance to cool off, and I don't even have to re-drill that hole. That fits just fine. So now it's time to get onto the assembly work. I think I'm going to go do all of this on the other side over there in the main shop where I have the drill press and I have a welder. Now I'm going to go ahead and tack weld these feet in where I want them to make sure they all stay put while I drill the holes. Drill the holes in this piece first, and then drill one hole in this, line it up, set that rivet. They actually included a bolt in the kit so you could bolt that together and use that to kind of line up while you drill the next hole and set a rivet and then move that bolt around as you work. But I think if I go ahead and tack weld it, it's not really for support. It's more of a temporary clamp if you'd like to think of it that way. But it will hold everything in alignment, and I think that'll make the process a little bit easier. If you don't have a welder, just drill them and rivet them. If you don't have a drill, you can punch the holes. It's just a matter of what tools you have available and how you feel like tackling the project. Now, as far as this chisel work, that actually could have been done cold. I could have gone through and done all the beveling hot. I think that's easier to do hot. But I think I could have done the chisel work under treadle hammer. It would have been a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and more accurate. It would have looked better in the long run. While this was cooling, I took a lunch break. I actually watched a YouTube video, Roy's latest video on production blacksmithing, and he commented about doing cold work and how you're saving money when you can do something cold. I absolutely agree with that theory. So if you can do this kind of chisel work cold instead of having to mess around with running a gas forge or a coal forge, you're probably going to be better off. Maybe you just lay it out cold and get the lines established, then heat it up and clean it up and deepen them with it hot. Whatever works for you, but I do agree with Roy's theory about doing it cold to save money. I think I'll go ahead and lay out for the rivet holes and drill this piece before I tack weld it together. That'll just make it all easier in the long run. Just lightly deburring the hole so everything goes together smoothly. I'm going to use a short 5/8 bolt and put this nut in to make sure that I leave enough space when I do these legs so that the nut will fit in the long run. The flats on the legs also provide a secure attachment so you don't need a wrench on the back side of the nut when you actually assemble this or if it gets loose in use. For a 5/16 rivet, I prefer to set these hot. I'm going to use a rivet heading tool on what will be the top side of the rivet to maintain the domed head rivet, but on the underside of the stand I don't see any reason to worry about it, so I'll just set those by hand. This little rivet heading tool is also one that came from Ken's Custom Iron several years ago. I'm going to go ahead and heat these legs up a little bit, give them a light wire brushing, then melt some beeswax onto it to help protect it since it'll probably be sitting on damp soil. The rest of the stand I probably won't worry about, although a light wipe down with some oil would probably be beneficial. It's still a bit too hot. It's better. And that completes our Blacksmith's helper, third hand, work stand, work support, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. It's just something to set stock on, either while you're working at the anvil or while you're heating things in the forge. So once again, I'd like to thank Ken's Custom Iron for sending all this stuff out for us to take a look at. This was all part of an earlier sponsored video. They are not specifically sponsoring this video, but I still, bugs. And I not only appreciate their support, as well as my other sponsors, but also your support for taking the time to watch these videos. That's the most important thing. Sponsors help pay the bills, but there's no point if you're not going to watch the videos. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop. Make something useful, but stay safe. Wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next video.